Hi, Jodi-Tatiana. My name is Crystal Carnahan from Zenfully Aware Performance Coaching and Yoga. I provide yoga and fitness classes to premium and luxury resorts. And I also provide wellness coaching to women who are looking for more, who really are ready and want to take a stand to prioritize themselves, feel that emotional, mental, and physical stability and balance and flexibility.
Oh, again, I love a good pitch. I love good intro, good pitch. Yes. All right. So this is the fun part where I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. I'm not afraid to approach anybody. I'm not afraid to be a class clown. Thank God for in high school, my class superlatives were most talkative and class clown. It benefits me in every single way. And I have to say that my mother and our cousins, our family were on a nice little break in the Keys for the holidays. And we're just walking and I met this random woman. She was rolling out yoga mats. And I go, hey, can I take your yoga class? And she's like, no, no, because it was a private course. I'm like, oh, bummer. So then my mom and I kidnap her and start talking to her and then hire her to be our professional photographer with our iPhone because we want our photos taken of each other. And then come to find out you have a business. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to put you on the podcast. There you go. So you never know. There are people that just call me and say hey, can I be on your podcast? There are people that I see on TV. And then there are people that I just randomly walk up to and see that they're doing something. And I'm like, well, let's just start a conversation because I'm not a shy person, which is great. So this is how I met Crystal, which I'm super excited about. But then Crystal has so much to her that she does for people. But I'm like, and I just literally just learned this on your pitch, which I'm like, ooh, a lot of things to talk about, especially with everything that we're going through in this world that we're going through right now. So before we even go there, we're going to start with who is Crystal? Where is Crystal? Because clearly that background, I know that background, but for people that are where are you? But also, who are you? Where did you start? All the way to, let's talk about where are you right now? Where did you start as a young child? All the way to, let's just say, higher education.
So, wow, thank you so much. And I am in the exact spot where we met. I am literally in the chair that I took your photo in. I thought this would bring back some wonderful memories and I couldn't resist. And especially just because this is where I'm at as of this moment. In the physical location, Islamorada, Florida, down in the Florida Keys. For those that are unfamiliar with the Florida Keys, a little set of island. Most familiar is Key West, of course, which is, each island has its own essence and really own spirit. And Islamorada is just one of those where it really allows you to release. And I hope you and your mom were able to find that, because for me, not only, just the salt air and the water flowing and the whole feel of it, but there's no heaviness here. If that is, with everything you mentioned going on in the world, there's just kind of that we're carrying this all on our shoulders. And here you really get to almost forget about it. And not that we want to forget what's going on in the world, but really just take a moment to kind of let it all go, not just release it out into off into the breeze, off into the ocean, wherever you have to release it.
Before you talk about your life, I have to say there's only one thing that brings heaviness to my heart when I'm there. So yes, I love Key West, but boy, oh boy, did I fall in love with it. I mean, because usually it's a pass through for me, driving from, my mom lives in Southwest Florida, so the drive through, and I never have ever stopped, never even thought about it. This was my cousin is king of finding the best restaurants and the best hidden gems. And so he brought our family there, and it was, wow, what a hidden gem where I told my mom, we're coming back here because this was 100% worth it. It's such a nice little spot. But one of the things that just threw me off, I have high energy. I do not need coffee at all. I enjoy, when I'm on holiday, I enjoy espresso, sitting back. I enjoy the coffee moment. Or I should say a coffee drink or espresso, because it's a moment. It's not going to change my personality one way or another. I'm still going to sleep like a baby. but I love the moment because it's just like warm. It just, I don't know, like there's something about that. I only enjoy caffeinated things on holiday. When I saw the prices of Starbucks there, you know what? I literally am posting during this podcast. I'm going to post the photo because it said it was great. As a marketing person, it said the last Starbucks is 80 miles. Bravo to them. Bravo. But then we went inside and I took a picture of like the WTF moment of like, are you kidding me? And the line was up the door that people were like, I'm willing to pay this for the Starbucks. And I was like, I've never seen prices like that ever at a Starbucks. So that was the only thing that the entire time that weighed heavy on me, where I'm like, what are they? What? A captive audience. Captive audience.
And as you said, the marketing is great. Oh my gosh, Starbucks. And one thing, and I know we're kind of going off, but one thing I will give to Starbucks is the fact that they have provided a space for other local businesses to do the same thing as they are. With that being said, I search out the small local espresso bars and cafes.
Oh my God,
and
you need to tell us where they are, because my cousin and I we were like, are you, I mean, we paid, but we bitched.
and rightly so. Same thing. Like I refuse. I would pay that at somewhere else. I refuse to pay it at Starbucks. I refuse. It has nothing to do with the money part of it. It is more of just, come on, Starbucks, really, like, give the little guy a chance.
Exactly.
And there's one, we will talk later. There's one right down the street. And it's in a little garden setting, and the girls are nice, and nobody is like rushed and hurried, and it's beautiful. So I got you.
Okay, good, because so my cousins live by Key Biscayne, so they're more often. So we need to know that, because again, here, so I have like a nice little coffee place that's here that I love. These guys, they're from Morocco. They built a place. So I live on the ocean. I'm a quintessential New England town, beautiful in every single way, and I will always give them the money. There are days that I want my Starbucks. Starbucks is closer to my door. There are days that I will go. I have no problem with that, but I'm not okay with somewhere that's charging so much, because you're right, people are on holiday, and you don't think about the prices when you're on holiday. You think about it when you're at home. And so that was the only thing where, when you said things that weigh heavy on you, nothing weighed heavy on me at all when I was there, except for that one thing. Okay, now with that was like a free pro and con advertisement for Starbucks. So sorry, everyone out there. You're going to see the visual as well. But now let's move on. Let's get back to Crystal. Crystal, let's talk about you from childhood all the way to college.
Oh gosh. So are you sure you only have an hour? Because no. So me in childhood, same thing, rambunctious. To give an example, I had a hip click. So the doctor found that my hip did not go into my socket correctly. Mm-hmm. So I had to wear this brace that pushed my legs into place so that it would grow and do it correctly. Well, me being stubborn at even such a young age, I would push my legs out, and I would not allow anybody to push this brace on me. And my sisters and my mom would be like, oh, how do we try it? And they'd feed me food. And oh my gosh, try to distract me. No, I'm not going to do it. And that's the way I have seemed to, as I look back, that's the way I'm growing up. I'm like, no, I'm stubborn. I will bash my head against the wall no matter what, until I get it through my head that, okay, maybe there's another way, or okay, maybe that's a good idea, or whatever. So that's me in childhood, always kind of, not rebelling per se, but really asking questions like, why is this the way it is? Like, why does 2 + 2 = 4? Okay, great. Like, somebody said that, but why? Like, who made that up? Like, what are the laws of physics? Like, who knows? So, it wasn't, I was born in the mid 70s. I think I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not sure. So it was one of those where it wasn't really taken as curiosity. It was like, you're doing this on purpose. Like, it was very, it wasn't looked at as an asset or a strength. It was looked at as very detrimental. And I was talking back, or I was not conforming. And so that kind of, throughout the education, I just always had this like, why? Like, why? And not that I needed an answer per se, but isn't there always a different perspective, like for everything? So I was an athlete. I would mainly ran track. I did a triathlon when, I was 16. I was kind of always like searching, more in the physical space. And then as I got through into college, certain things in my personal life were going crazy. My parents got divorced and I didn't process that well. And so, as you go away to school, I went 8 hours away. I was like, I'm not going to an in-state school because why do that? Which, note to self, please go to in-state or wherever, it doesn't matter. Or don't go to college, but like, don't go out of state and, pay a private school education just because, like, research your school, go visit, do the thing. Talking from experience, it was a great school, don't get me wrong. It was upstate New York, absolutely beautiful. Why did I go to the Arctic when I'm a beach bunny? Who the hell knows? Anyway, so went throughout my college education. I was able to study in France my sophomore and junior year. So not only did I get, one full year of study abroad, I got two, which was absolutely amazing. When I got back, it was get a degree because you've already been on this path, or switch to kind of what you want to do, but spend another, 3 to 4 years in college. And so I decided to get a degree. It was in, French studies. It's a liberal arts degree. I was like, well, I have one. I'm going to travel. I'm going to go into the Peace Corps. All this, I'm going to be a flight attendant, so that's free travel. I'll go everywhere in the world, the whole shebang. Well, life throws stuff at you. Things didn't work out as planned, and so we go into, my mom passed away about 4 years after I graduated college, and that again, was a significant trauma that still hurts a bit. And
we cannot cry right now. We're going to cry later if we need to, but we cannot cry right now, my
yes,
friend. I
no,
go, okay,
I'm
so
not.
you can say, because your mom is watching over you and your mom's like, I go, girlfriend, you are working so hard to be where you are. So like, keep it together right now. Keep it together.
Exactly. Yes, I got you. And that's the thing. So I didn't process it. And this is leading up to what I do now. She, was my rock. Uh, just I didn't give it a chance. I didn't go through the stages, and regardless of, the 8 stages, 5 stages, whatever they are, I didn't even acknowledge it. I simply said, well, people's parents die all the time, and so whatever, like, no big deal. Which, sure, they do, but there does need to be an acknowledgement. There does need to be how it affects you, how you're actually processing it. So as I went on, I was in the restaurant business. It was fun until it wasn't. There was a disconnect in, oh my gosh, again, there has to be something more. There has to be something out there. Like why in this great span and this great sphere of a world that we're on, what like what else is there? And not that there's a searching, not that there has to be something else, but why not? Like, what if there is? So I got really disconnected in my entire life. I started really using what was in front of me, which was alcohol. And again, alcohol can be fun, it can be relaxing, it can be whatever, until you take it to a point that your recycling looks like a frat house and it's only you and your husband. And um, through that, had some legal issues from it, DUIs, the whole shebang. finally got to the point where I had banged my head against the wall enough, and I had an accident. I could have potentially killed a family who was on vacation. And I finally looked at it and said, okay, like, eeny meeny, there's two paths. What does my life look like on each of these? I have a choice. As I got sober and started looking at, oh my God, like, what, WTF, like you said, what am I doing? What am I going, like, how did I get so far off track?
Yeah.
So I went back to school. I got a master. I started researching programs and just kind of where my interest had been. What did I want to offer to people? What kind of was my purpose or my passion? And I found a master's program in health and wellness coaching. So as I was going through that, I also had been dabbling in yoga a bit. I was a runner, so I wanted to do something a little bit different, but really offset what was happening with my body in running. So I started really focusing on yoga and the different styles and what was going on mentally, physically, and emotionally throughout this whole process. And
okay, wait, we're gonna pause. Wait, I want to pause.
Yeah.
Okay, so you gave us a lot. You just gave us a lot, which I love. But we're gonna rewind. 17 years old when your mom died?
I was 26.
Oh, 26. I'm so sorry. 26 years old. All right, when your mom passed away. What did she pass away from?
She had chronic diabetes, and the looking back, she was never given a choice, really. She was simply given a choice of lose weight, but they never told her really how to. They never gave her opportunities to say, okay, well, here's diet or exercise, or it was simply medication. It was all pharmacological. There wasn't even any like, what's going on in your life that could exacerbate this disease and
One
this
of the
dis-ease.
I love that you said that because my mom is full figured. She's like, or my mom, what my mom likes to say is like, there's more of me to love. And she has big cha-chas. So my mom does a really great job. She goes on her walks and things like that. But I remember when she had a doctor, keyword had a doctor that said, like, you need to lose weight or you're gonna die. That was the here. And my mom's like, not the greatest way of saying it to me. And so she just turned off. It turned her off entirely, where when people hear things like that, it either scares you to the point where you dramatically drop weight in the most unhealthy way, or you're just like, I go, you know what? I'm gonna like bring on the cheesecake. I mean, what are you talking about? What are you doing? And so I think that the bedside manner has been lost with a lot of doctors. And they're not recommending nutritionists. And so it is one of those moments where a lot of individuals end up not having the best of health and end up not being with us anymore because the individuals that they're depending on, that they're trusting their health to, aren't really kind.
Completely. And they don't, not saying that they're wrong in a way, but they don't know themselves. Like they have their whatever their productivity is supposed to be, or whatever their, they have to see 147 patients a day, and spend 3 minutes with each of them, or
because insurance companies won't pay for them.
Exactly. And my mom also was of the mindset, she was in the generation where I have to work myself to death in order, literally, in order to sustain whatever this cycle is. So she was a nurse. She knew the information. She had the resources available. And yet she would go to the hospital from 11 to 7, and she would go to private duty from 8 to 4. Where in the hell do you... She even chose to do dialysis while she slept so that she wouldn't have to make an extra trip to the hospital, and
she's taking care of so many people, and yet she's last on the list. Basically, she's last on the list.
Exactly. and hence that is why I do what I do. I really, with coaching, I really want women, my goal or dream or mission is to have women prioritize themselves
Yeah.
in such a way that they build the strong foundation so that they can really stand in their power, and that power automatically radiates to others
Mhm.
versus giving and giving and giving and giving until you just, well, they ain't got no more.
Yeah.
Sorry. Peace
Yeah.
out.
Rewinding now, like, so your mom dies, and then you start going down your own personal spiral. How does one, because during the pandemic, there's two things. You're seeing mass, not just like a few, you're seeing a mass exit of individuals leaving high paying jobs. So we are now, since October, January, and the job rate just came in, we're now at 12 million people that have walked away from high paying, highly educated jobs. The pandemic has opened up the Pandora box of enough is enough. You have people that are just, they're having their own personal spiral. A lot of governors around the country, liquor stores are essential. So liquor stores were open. Individuals that were on recovery, they're like, of all places that should not be open, they're open. And so now people are not able to go to meetings, they're not able to seek help, they're not able to have their communities, they're not able to have the buffer. Oh, look, I'm in a home with my family all day, every day. So now the buffers of the gym, the buffers of my friends, the buffers of work aren't around anymore. And you see more and more people finally, you see more and more people spiraling, but now finally people are talking about mental care in a way that is never, ever, ever been spoken about before in the past. It was always we don't talk about that. If the boss hears about that, you're getting fired. You went through your own personal moment. What was your rock bottom? I mean, you stated it, but I mean, what was the rock bottom moment of like, enough is enough is enough? Or is there someone that said, hey, you know what, Crystal, we're having an intervention with you?
So interestingly, that is one of the hardest things. I had several people, my husband, my sister, close friends. I had friends, who just didn't know what to do. And then I had close friends who were like, what can we do?
Mm.
And at that point in most people's journey, or I won't even say most people, at that point in my journey, I was stubborn and nothing's wrong. I'm gonna do it by myself. That's why I took you back to the hip click. Like, I'm going to push my legs out and I'm gonna do it all by myself.
Yep.
And I couldn't. And I didn't know how to express it because I was supposed to be strong. I was supposed to be this. I was self-induced. I was doing it to myself. Like,
Mm.
I knew every time. Like, I mean, these are things that you never think that you're going to do. Like drinking vodka, like in a water bottle, straight up vodka. No mixers. Like, you don't have to be underneath a bridge, drinking out of a paper bag. I
Mm.
was literally in full light and so you never know. Like, this is why the mind is so powerful. Like, it took me to a place that I never thought. I I started hearing things. So I would hear my neighbors outside my window, and I would hear them talking about me and saying, like, what a piece of shit I was, and oh my God, I can't believe her, and like, and they weren't obviously there. I I tore. I came home one day and I thought there were cameras in my house, and I tore the fire uh, extinguisher, like
Yeah.
the fire
The-
things down.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. We all know what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yes, I took the mirror. I took every picture, every mirror off the wall. I was looking for the cameras. I called the cops on my neighbors saying that they had put cameras in my house. I mean, this is how far the alcohol had like literally effed with my head.
Mhm.
So to speak to like rock bottom, even that, I was like, "What?" But that wasn't quite enough. Like when I had so people were they didn't go as far as an intervention. They were trying to very gently be like, "Hey, we care about you. Here's an ultimatum. Like, if you love me, then you'll stop." If we don't have children, so that wasn't a thing. Like, but even family members, "Hey, Crystal, like, I'm seeing this, but maybe you should talk to somebody." I'm like, "Fuck that. I don't need to
Oh,
talk to
hey,
anybody."
I'm gonna pause you. No F-bombing on this podcast, dude. You can seriously. We can talk about everything, but no F-bombing. That was your
I
pass. That was your
apologize.
okay. That was your pass. Go ahead.
I
Back
apologize.
to you.
I'm sorry.
Back to you. Okay.
So screw that. I'm not talking to anybody. And so what finally got me to the point was I had the accident, and nothing. Thankfully somebody was watching over. Nothing happened. It was a fender bender, but I was in a complete blackout. I don't remember it. Apparently I had assaults against police officers. I was black and blue from head to toe because they had to take me down. I Sure, I don't know, I don't remember. I just woke up, and then it wasn't my first. It was a several thing, and so the judge had to sentence me, and I got I went to jail, and I got in there, and there was someone at my high school, or from my high school, and she's she's like, I didn't recognize her. And she's like, "You're Crystal." And I'm like, "Oh my God, who are you?" She's like, "I'm, so and so. And by the way, I'm married to so and so." It was like the cheerleader football player type, like, the person you never suspect. And so we got to talking, and it was just like, wow, like, here I am. I am, and I can have this be my life, and I can say, screw this, and I can blame everybody else, and oh my God, and this is why, and blah, blah, blah. Or I can literally turn a light switch and change, like, right here, right now, and not accepting this. This is BS. I'm loading myself with BS because I'm continuing these actions. And so from there, I did go to a couple meetings. For me, AA worked for a little bit, and then I had to find uh, something more. I had to connect everything, both physical, both mental, both emotional. I had to get all three.
Right now, there are people that are right in your situation. I mean, like, actually, I should say right in your situation, right at this moment, but in your past, where a little bit more in your past, because they're overwhelmed with what's going on, especially because we're coming off the holiday. There's so many different variants of the pandemic, of COVID. People are freaking out again. People are angry. People are frustrated. What are your thoughts in regards to some people are leaning towards a glass of XYZ. Some people are leaning towards some substances of, like, it could be some sort of drugs. Like, we're going to put alcohol right in there as well. Some people are just leaning towards being addicted to name XYZ, where I'm closing out the world and I'm going to just focus on myself, but I'm going down a negative route, not a positive route. What would you say to someone that's in it right now? Because I can go online and get mental care. I can go to the doctors if the doctors want, if the doctor's going to sit there and, like, really take me seriously. People are just so confused on, how do I take care of myself, especially it's the start of the new year. I want to make changes, but we all know the rules of thumb. Beginning of the year, they don't usually stick. So you found your discovery. You found that AA wasn't for you. It's not that AA is not good. It's not the right fit for a lot of people and they find different ways, but how did you find your path? What's the best for you? And also, what advice would you give to someone that's trying to figure out their spot? I mean, I know a lot of younger people that they're like, I've tried this, and nothing is sticking for me. I feel like I'm in despair. So what would you say to them in regards of what were steps for you to find your perfect path to get to your way of, okay, now I'm finding my path that's sticking and it's working for me right now?
So I guess the most important thing for me is I took responsibility. And I really had to bring it back to every single choice that I made.
Mm.
There was no one else. Sure. I mean, there were people that drank with me. There were people that, again, didn't drag me to wherever. There were, um, if you do the coulda, shoulda, woulda, I mean, but ultimately, I am I am my own person. And so for some people, the trying this, and this, and this is the external way of what's going to help. Like, oh, maybe this will help. Oh, maybe this will help. Oh, maybe this, or somebody told me this, da 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 da. But really bringing it back to heart and soul. And I created this,
Mm.
and now I have control to create something different. Like, I have the power to create a completely different life for myself,
Mm.
and no one else can tell me otherwise. And not that, I don't invite opinions or things of that nature, not that, you know, sure, mentors and people with different and more experience, but really I look at the alcohol as the symptom. Like,
Mm.
the alcohol was simply something that, because I didn't know how to express what I was going through. I didn't know how to express my anger without going into a rage. I didn't know how to express my sadness without beating myself up for being sad. I didn't know how to express my joy
Mm.
because at the time I didn't think there was any.
Mm.
And so all of, like, our range of emotions, it's not that we have to, turn to one or turn to more positive or negative, or we have to experience the whole range, but we have to also express them in such a way that they get out
Mhm.
of the body so that they're not causing whatever it's going to manifest itself in some way or another, whether it's addiction, whether it is um hives or disease or mental capacity. It's going to manifest itself in some way. So to learn, for me, one, the breath, especially with yoga, um, the breath carries everything. And I will generalize this: 99% of us breathe incorrectly. We breathe backwards because the vanity part of society, you want to suck your belly in.
Mm.
Well, when you inhale, you got to let that belly go out, let it be free. But everybody wants to, inhale and suck it in. And then as we exhale, you think you breathe it out. Well, that's backwards. And so in essence, you're sending messages to you're sending messages every single time you breathe that you're it's a little backwards.
Yeah.
Same with thoughts. Like, your thoughts send messages to your body. Like, eh, if you're in that anxious state, the body's going to, it doesn't know the difference. Like, it's responding to what you are feeling. So
Mhm.
you feel a little anxious, it's going to send out all these hormones and cortisol and whatever else it is that it needs to prepare itself. It's not, it's not its fault, it's not your fault. It's just simply recognizing that every single thing we think, that we feel, that we do sends a message. And to really sync that, to answer your question, to really sync that and become aware of the whole connection of it.
Mm.
So, people that are in this, don't blame yourself and don't blame the alcohol. but really ask yourself, what is it that I'm trying to express? Where is the disconnect that I'm really feeling? You know, is it a relationship? Like, you know, I have a lot of people that want to lose weight. Oh my God, we could talk about that forever. You know, the weight is simply the surface issue. You can
Mhm.
lose 1,000 pounds, but you're not going to lose the heaviness. You're not going to lose the weight that you still carry with you, like a little hobo bag, you know, that you won't unpack because it's there and it's safe and it's like, okay, I got my little, you know, whatever. And it just manifests itself as weight on the body, you know, a physical weight.
I do love how you said that because I am so I've had 3 fibroid surgeries, and I they keep saying like I go with fibroids, you don't even know where it comes from, but I can link them very clearly to major stressful things that happen. I mean, clear as day, 3 specific things that happened where they just grew like gangbusters, and like I mean I knew the feeling. Went to the doctors, and I remember the first time I had a doctor, and he's like so he goes, do you cry? I'm like, go, um, sometimes, but why? He's like, he goes, what? Do you punch walls? I'm like, I go, absolutely not. I'm not punching a wall. He's like, he goes, how do you get your anger and your frustration out? I'm like, I go, what? I'm a happy-go-lucky person. What are you talking about? Like, I mean, and so for me, I'm always like, I mean, I always feel like I feel good. And so when well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, 99.9% of the time I'm Tigger, but catch me in my Taz moment, I will spin out of control. I will lose my shit. I can say shit here. I could lose my shit, but then I rally back and I'm back to being Tigger. And so I was told where like I go, you because you're holding things in, like you just said, your body will say, like, I go, a rash or this or whatever's happened. And I am that person. And I get so angry where I'm like, I go, I could exercise to calm the jets, but then I'm mad that I have to exercise because I have to calm. That's the way that my jets are being calm when I'm feeling. So I get angry because I'm being told I'm not calm. Like, you know what I mean? But, well, actually, sidebar, throw on a good Hallmark commercial, I'm going to cry because those Hallmark commercials are Christmas commercials. I'm going to blubber like a baby. Anything with a
Yes.
dog, I'm gonna blubber like a baby. But other than that, I don't cry. I'm not a crier. It's just not my thing. I'm just not. I mean, it's just not what I do. It's not that I can't cry. I just don't do it. So all those emotions don't come out to release all that pent up blah 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 that you have in your body. And so when people are hearing you in regards to like, okay, it's great that I'm hearing it, but doing it is a whole different thing because someone has to either hit their rock bottom or someone has to find a way to release it. So for me, my camera, taking pictures is my binky, but it's my meditative state. I can go out for hours, go for a walk, and I can come back with 60 photos easily because that's when but it took me years to realize, oh, something I've been doing it for years is my happy place. And that's when I relax. But most people don't realize that ever.
You're exactly right. And most people discount that actually. You know, they discount the ease of the way that they feel because again, society and just this like rat race of constantly being on, you
Yeah.
know, being available. The ease of something, like when you feel good, it's
Mhm.
like, ooh, oh my God, I feel good. Like that's weird. That's not normal. Like I don't recognize that.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, this is the way, like, this is how it quote unquote should be,
Mhm.
not the struggle and the despair. And it's not that you can't feel those things, but when we get to a point of, I don't want to say comfort, because I don't, you know, comfort can cause complacency, but
Yeah.
when we get to a point of like, whew, wow, like that, all right, like this is my sweet spot,
Yeah.
we reject it because nope, can't have a sweet spot because we got to be checking our email, we got to be doing this, we got to be running, we have to be
Mhm.
exercising, we have to be eating well, we have to be God knows what, you know. So I I always suggest like, yeah, drawing. I mean,
Yeah.
so many people are so creative they don't even realize it.
They
I don't
realize
even
when
care if
they're
it's
retired. When they're retired is when all this creativity comes in, which is very funny because I mean, we both live by the water. You see people that are retired and all of a sudden they take up painting and they take up all these different activities that they always had in them, but they never had time to allow themselves to do it.
And creating time, that's another thing. I mean, time is a whole different construct. You know,
Mhm.
we never have time. We don't prioritize the time. We don't make the time. And when I say
Mhm.
make the time, I mean literally make the time. Like, y- so waiting in a Starbucks line, people are like, I can't make my own coffee because that takes too long. But I'll wait 15 minutes in Starbucks for, and I will wait on the highway in my car
Yeah.
in a line that, like you said, wraps around the building. So
Mhm.
I don't have to get out of my car, but I can't, like some people like cooking, but they won't, it takes too long. I got to get the kids ready. I got to da 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 da. It, it's changing the perspective of how you're actually using the time, how you're
Mhm.
actually, creating and spending the time. Like, oh my gosh, you could bypass a piece of toast and peanut butter, avocado, I guarantee is much more nutritious than the little egg bites. And don't get me wrong, kudos. Thank you, whoever created them. I'm simply saying that if you like really looked at it, time, you have all the time in the world,
You do have all the
literally.
time. I literally had to stop saying I don't make time to wait a second. I don't have time to I don't make time. So whenever I even hear myself saying I don't have time, I always I go, I didn't make time today.
And when you say that, it so sometimes that can be a double-edged sword because you don't want to make yourself feel bad, like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't make time, like, bash myself again.
Yeah.
Yet simply changing the perspective of, okay, well, how can I put that in?
Mhm.
Am I able to, find time or for myself, like embrace that and honor that for me.
Yeah. So literally you just opened up the door of, so how did this business come to be? So like from the point where, okay, now I'm taking hold of who I am, what I do, I'm taking responsibility for everything that's happened in the past. I'm finding a way to balance out how I am still working through dealing, coping that my mom is no longer here with me. But now you have a business. How did that happen?
So as I was going through, I got the master's and the yoga teacher training and things of that nature. And I worked for a couple yoga studios.
Mhm.
And, I got the opportunity to teach on the beach. I mean, like literally, you know, the picturesque, the same, like water has always called to my soul. So
Mhm.
I got the opportunity to work for some studios, and then going through my mind, I was like, okay, well, I have to travel to the studios, I have to set up, get ready, da 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 da. And then the students that I'm teaching, I'm creating a relationship with, but they're not really my students. They're the students of the place that I'm working for,
Uh-huh.
which is great. That it was wonderful at the time, but then I was like, but I want to create relationships with me. I want people coming where I can, at the people that I worked for had very how should they were very structured,
Mhm.
how they wanted things done, how they wanted their clients spoken to, and things of that nature. And while wonderful, that's great, they never allowed me to have my flair, like bring myself into it, where
I feel
for
like at
me,
that moment, little Lisa's coming out again.
yeah, completely. And and that was the thing. And it's funny you say Lisa, because that's like my stage name that I call myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
Is it
people,
really? Because
it
literally, I
is.
just said it. I'm like, I go, did I just call her Lisa? What did I just call her Lisa? I'm like, I go, it's Crystal. I go, but no, seriously? It's like, really?
It is. It's very strange. I
Okay,
mean,
wait. All right, so now I need to know about this. We had to pause. Why Lisa?
I have no clue. I don't know why. It was one of those, like, if I like meet somebody random and I'm not like comfortable with them, it was just Lisa. I have no clue. I don't know why.
Beyonce used to do that too.
Did she?
Yeah, Beyonce had like a
See?
little. She had this like
It's
little.
one.
Yeah, she had this name where whenever she was introduced to someone, and I know a few people, a few of the celebrities that do that. They're like, it's not that we're trying to trick someone. We're like, I go, there's a name, it's a persona of the other person that I am.
Exactly. And if you don't want to kind of give all of yourself, or like you're not, yeah, it's you're like, yeah, I'm this person, not that person. It's very so, yeah. That's I don't. That's not a Freudian. It's
I loved
so
it.
anyway. Like
That was kind of crazy. And my cousin's going to enjoy this, not only for the Starbucks conversation earlier, but he's going to enjoy this because he does this. And so it's going to be funny. All right, keep going. So sorry.
I love that. So I totally forgot where I was going. Or
in regards of how the business started.
yes. So also with wellness coaching, I really wanted to almost kind of fail on my own. You know, they had their business set up the way that they wanted to, and I was supposed to fit into that box. And I again, I couldn't express myself, like my personality. Like they would call and say, you know, such and such a person is going to be in class today, and she needs, you know, extra care, and she needs this. And I was like, one, I know the person. Two, I've spoken to the person. Three, like let me, like, it's my class,
Yeah.
so you should trust me enough to, or there should be trust enough that I'm going to take care of your clients. Like, and if I don't let them let you know, like, you know, there was never an issue. It was just they were always like that little like micromanager, like over my shoulder. And so I felt my teaching was hindered as well, because I always had them in the back of my mind. I was never present on in the space, because I was like, oh, am I teaching that right? Am I doing it the way, is it okay? Like, oh my gosh. And then I thought, you know, I would ask after class and I would be like, was that okay? Was it all right? Like I was looking for validation again. And I was like, no, I can't do that. Like people, the thing with yoga, you're going to resonate with something. And you know, maybe like I've had teachers that I've appreciated, you know, they're, you know, they haven't been my favorite, but they're teaching the way that they teach, and I always gain something from it. So I just started, I lived a couple towns over, and I started really playing with like, what do I want to do? Like, how do I want to, like, how does this look like for me? And you know, that I romanticized a lot about business. Like, oh yeah, well, I'll just open a business and I'll have 75 people, and you know, everybody's gonna be perfect and it's so easy, and da 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 da. And like I had this whole notion in my head where I didn't, you know, oh, marketing and advertising and actually having a structure and something that people can pay you with, and a scheduler, and like the gamut of, oh my god, you know, CRMs and what the I just want to teach yoga, you know, for myself.
Welcome to the world of owning your own business.
Yes, yes. So there's still, and then, you know, you get into like, I mean, I've done the Clifton Strengths Finder, and you know, the Enneagram, you know, I'm a 7. And so I'm futuristic, and I create ideas, and I have all of this, and execution is like, like it's not even on. It's like, where, oh, you're okay. Yeah. So work on your strength, like find your zone of genius. I got it. And then find somebody who has another zone of genius and execution to do the things that you're not quite as good at. And I found I really, you know, like it's tough. It's lonely. I work from home, and I've always worked from, and that was one of your questions was, how did you pivot? And it was really tough for me because I'd already been Zooming and meeting people online, which is again awesome. The world is so open and so broad and so expansive. And I like when I met you, instant energy, like instant connection. That that's what I like. Real on real, here you go. That's me. So when everything shut down and we went back to Zoom, I was like, oh man, I need some like IRL, like, I need real people.
Yeah.
So that was a little difficult for me. Not didn't take me down, but it was just like, okay, going back to Zoom.
So what is the company and what do you do and who do you do it for? Who's your perfect client?
The company is Zenfully Aware Performance Coaching and Yoga. It does have a couple umbrellas. One umbrella is providing yoga and fitness classes to luxury and premium resorts, and the other is wellness coaching to ambitious and sophisticated women who want more, who are looking to actually release and no longer tolerate what society has told them should be the way.
I'll slice that in two. So let's talk about the fitness first. I'm always so happy when someone knows their target audience, their target. So you knew when you started this company, you were going to go after the luxurious resorts. Why and how did you approach them? Because I think that's one of the biggest fears where, and I'm going to put this out there for myself, where I'm looking for sponsors for this podcast. And I'm not, I mean, I've had Oprah on my show, not like here, like when I was in the media, I had Oprah on. I mean, I've been with Desmond Tutu. I'm not afraid to approach anyone, but I am afraid to sit there and go for sponsors, which is so shocking for so many reasons, because I'm not afraid of anyone. But when it comes to sponsors for it's like a sale, I always put in my mind, like, sales is not what I do, it's not what I do. So you went after the luxurious resorts. How did you know you wanted to go that route, and how did you first approach it? Because I can, like, every small business out there right now is hearing you thinking, oh shit, how did she do that? Like, how did she do that?
Literally, again, my stubbornness works wonders. It's like my best friend and my nemesis. So there were many iterations before I actually got to this. I worked with athletes, I worked with collegiate teams, basketball, high school teams. Did churches, workspace, like the whole, it took a little bit. And then I got a contract with a hotel in Clearwater Beach. And the, the, the director of operations at the time wanted a whole wellness, like, I guess program, we'll say, where, not only were people getting the yoga, perhaps we were doing a little juice or inviting them to, a nutritious breakfast, things of that nature. So I started that, and then obviously COVID hit. We went through COVID. Luckily, I was able to do it. We were outside. We're in Florida, so
Yeah.
thankfully 365-degree weather for the most part. And what I was hearing was gyms are shut, studios are shut, everything's shut. I don't like video, I don't like Zoom. This was so great, this was so helpful. And I just started to get the idea, like, why don't I do this at other places? And so I'm based in Florida for right now. And I just went down the thing, okay, what are the 10 best, resorts in Florida? What are the, I'm based in Tampa. So if I do it here, am I able, like, thinking through all the scenarios, okay, if I hire somebody, but if they can't do it, am I able to get there? What is this going to look like? And then I literally just started reaching out, cold emailing, totally LinkedIn. Hey, here's what I do. I'd love to chat with you. And some people I had no response. Some people I had yes and then ghost. Some people I had, oh yeah, let's have a conversation.
Okay.
So it was it was literally persistence and follow up and understanding the industry and what they're trying to do. You know, you always want to make it, it's always better to make it beneficial for them. What does it bring to, like, I wanted to enhance the guest experience because sure, people love the beach. This is an amazing location. You have everything. What if you had that one thing else, and where the guest didn't have to pay for it? Like, where they didn't have to pay for something else, like Starbucks. You know, I didn't want that shock value of like, oh my gosh, I'd love to take a class, you know, but I don't know if I want to pay for it because I'm already like
right
paying.
here.
Yeah. So I
But I
really
think
wanted.
that's, but I mean, I'm so sorry to pause you. I love how you did that. It's just the due diligence. And again, when I tell you, it took me 3.5 years to get Oprah on my show, and everyone's like, where did you get that gumption? I'm like, because I was told I couldn't get her on the show. So the second I was told I couldn't get her on the show, I'm like, I go, well, look at that. What? And I think that for me was my life, where I lived in the house of first generation born here in America. No was the favorite word that was used in the house. So I always found a way, like, how do I get around the no? How do I can find a way to curve around the no. And so when I was told that, I was like, okay. So I love how that little Crystal was like, I go pushing, I don't want to brace, don't mess with me. And throughout your entire life where you challenged, and that same gumption is still working to your benefit right now.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Well,
likewise.
And
like,
this is what I tell people. I go, this is why I ask who you are at the beginning, because I need to understand how you have done it now, because it doesn't just come like, I read a book and all of a sudden I became Amazon Jeff Bezos. It doesn't happen that way. Something happened along the way. So I need to understand who you are, and I can connect the dots, but it has to come out of your mouth.
And I appreciate that. And I feel like that is where you know, so health and wellness means many things to many different people. And I think it's where those two words get lost. Like, it doesn't have to be the perfect body, the perfect quote unquote diet, like what you're fueling your body with. Like, it doesn't have to be this like filtered stuff. It's simply like, where do you feel good?
Yeah.
And how do you feel good? And what is your body asking for? Like, so many people, I don't like, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. The food aspect, I work more with the relationship with food.
Yeah.
But I hear so many people talk about carbs, and I'm like, eat the carbs. Your body needs it.
Italians are fine. Italians are fine. Okay. Boom. They're fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I go,
like,
us Caribbeans, we can't live without rice. We're fine. Okay. Don't touch our carbs.
Exactly. Like, you know, there's so much underneath that. Like, same with weight. I don't know. It was 10 pounds. I can't eat the car. I can't, like, you can do whatever you want. It's finding the relationship that you have with it, like releasing all that nonsense around it.
Yeah.
Then, I have dessert every day. Whether it's chocolate, I prefer chocolate, but key lime pie. I mean, you know, look where I am. Like,
rum balls for me. My mom, like when I came back here, my mom gave me a big old box of rum balls, and every day I eat 2, and I'm like, oh, I'm happy. Yeah.
Savor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. The amount of money that I was fined on JetBlue because my suitcase was too heavy, and she's like, can you take anything out of the bag? I go, everything in the suitcase is not clothes. It's my mom's food, and these are memories. So I'm paying extra. Obnoxious JetBlue. Love you guys, but that was obnoxious. I go, but it was worth it because of memories, and it was a lot of sweet memories in there. So I'm eating like a lot of sweet things I would never have, but mom made it, so I'm taking it.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like, really standing for that. Like, you know, it's when it comes, the money is, we put all of this stuff on money. Yes, we need money. The function of the world, we need money. There's no doubt about it. I'm not saying it in that sense, like, oh, we just don't need money. And it's the relationship that you have with it. Like, how are you looking at it? What does it mean to you? Like, look at all of that undersurface stuff for
Mhm.
everything, relationships, food.
Well, I was gonna say relationship, food, money. Like, I mean, like it is, you're 100% correct, because you hear that whole entire term where I go, I can meet the richest person in the world, but they're so angry, they're so upset, they're just so unhappy. Or you could meet the person that's like, I go, rich, but they give away as much as they possibly can, and you'd never know that they were rich. Or the person that has nothing and they have like 9 kids and they all went to college and they did fantastic. Or the person that has nothing and is like blames the world. So yes, it's all about your relationship with your being, which is like a huge thing that I think that people don't pay attention to. Where I go, just where are you right now, and are you happy with where you are right now? And if you're not, change at least something little, which would be huge. We talked about it for a little bit, but then we're going to go back to it. How was this during the pandemic? You went on Zoom, so did you teach on Zoom? Because again, we didn't talk about the second part of your company, because we're focused on this. How did you run your company? So March 2020 happens. I go, we are literally going to year 2. You are very lucky to be in Florida. I'm in Massachusetts, where yesterday was 15 degrees. With the wind, it was 3 degrees. I was still outside catching I was still outside, because that's what I do. That's what happens when you live in New England or anywhere that there's snow. But how did you keep this business company going? And how old is the company? And how old is the company? But how did you keep this company going, knowing that we're in a pandemic? All these locations that you are working with are closed. You're on Zoom. How are they finding you, etc.?
So actually, at the point when the pandemic happened, I was working with a lot of high schools and collegiate athletes.
Mhm.
So when that shut down, I wasn't exactly sure when or what, and I felt I couldn't wait for whenever it was going to happen again.
Yeah.
Athletics in and of itself shut down, and even as they were bringing it back, there was still what I wanted to convey to the athletes, I didn't feel would be as beneficial on the screen as it would be in person.
Mhm.
So I flipped, and that's when I decided I had the hotel already, which kept me sustained throughout the pandemic. And then also I focused more on my coaching. I focused on, okay, now we are in this,
Mhm.
how the mental and emotional effects of this pandemic are going to be astronomical, and they are going to be so much more than the physical effects
Yep.
than anybody realizes for generations.
Mhm.
And I wanted to, and I don't know if I got it out there, if my impact was quite enough during the pandemic. And that is my focus now, is how can I help now that people are aware of this even more so? How can I help them release these emotions? How can I help them not even get through it, but really know that they can be responsible for themselves even throughout all of this? And it doesn't have to be like a me against the world. It can be a me protecting myself and doing the things that I need to do, no matter what you believe in, which way there's 1,001, different beliefs out there, but really saying, okay, what do I need to do to feel safe and protected, and move about the world in such a way that the fear and the worry is not going to create disease or disease in my body.
Mhm. So great segue to the coaching part. The yoga part is one part of your business, but then you're focusing not only on coaching, but for women. Obviously, women want to help women, or women at least should help other women. So for you, why did you go? What happened, or what was that catapult that got you to the point where, like, I want to focus on women to actually have them engage more in themselves?
I think it was my mom. Actually, I don't even think so. It was like once I started looking at, because I worked with men, and men are great. Like, don't get me wrong. They're, it's a whole different dimension for them. Like, we think differently.
Mhm.
Looking at how my mom, once I started going throughout the whole thing, looking at how my mom, um, like from her perspective, how did the divorce, you know, how did that affect her? She never said. We never asked. There, there was no like, she never sought therapy. I don't think she thought she could. She never prioritized herself. She also listened to those, she would eat cheesesteaks without the bread because the doctor said don't eat carbs. That's a whole, like,
Is a cheesesteak even a cheesesteak without the bread?
exact right. I mean, if you want it, like, not, yeah, like you gotta have the whole package. And nobody gave her, whether there were no alternatives, and nobody told her, you know what, you really have to like screw your kids, screw your patients, screw the hospital, screw like, not in such a way that, like you're being mean, but you have got to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
You have to, because there is no one else who's going to do it. And it's not selfish. It's not saying like, narcissistic, like, hey, I'm the only one here and I have to take care of me. It's simply saying, oh my gosh, I have to be strong enough to radiate
Yeah.
my power out into the world so that I can, uplift someone who might need it when they're down. And if I'm not at that point, then I can't help anyone. And my body will literally, your body will go,
Yeah.
and it'll go and it'll go and it'll go until it doesn't. And at 57, boom, done. And
And
that's too
57,
short.
that's extremely too short. That's like, I mean, really, that's 5 years younger than 5 years older than me right now. And that's not okay. That is definitely not okay. Um,
Yeah.
there are so many people that are leaving, again, mass exits in regards of leaving these jobs. They're trying to find their time to do something for themselves, as in they're trying to find what's the pain point that I'm going to solve? Who are the people that I'm going to help? You found the people that you want to help. You definitely have taken things from your past and found ways to, like, I know I can help people because I've gone through so many different ways. And this is not only healing myself, but it's also going to find ways of healing other people. So it's not like I read a book and I'm doing this. I've lived this and I'm giving back to you. So it's personal for me on so many different levels. And I want to help these individuals. There are a lot of people out there that they left these jobs because they're like, I know I can help. I know there's a pain point that's out there to be solved. I know, but I'm afraid because, and you said this, I want to do yoga. I don't want to do marketing and and all the P&Ls and blah, blah, blah. So how does one balance that? Where I want to come in, I want to solve the problem. I want to still run my business. I want to have ownership of making my own rules and having my own time. But boy, oh boy, all these other things are taking me away from what I love doing. How do you balance the running the business and enjoying Crystal's love?
Thank you. And I think that is extremely important. Because when I started again, I had that romantic notion of just, oh yeah, you get an LLC and then it's like that's it. You're good and you get square and whatever. Um, my what I have found is, I don't even know if it's a business model per se, but really looking at how you want to work. So, like, if you quit corporate, and corporate, you had to be there from 8 to 4, and you got a half an hour lunch or whatever it may be, but then you had to go home and you had to do, however many hours of work. Like, how do you want your business to look? And I would schedule in your time first. So, like, okay, I like to work out in the morning. So I'm going to schedule whatever it is. If it's 6 a.m., great. If it's 9 a.m., great. If it's 11 a.m., wonderful. or I like to schedule, I like to work out some people are different. Like I wouldn't force yourself to, if you hate working out in the mornings, I wouldn't work out in the morning or
Yeah.
do your movements or whatever meditation, whatever you are using for yourself. I wouldn't do it at a time that you don't enjoy, because that's going to it's going to take away the whole entire benefit. So
Mhm.
schedule in yourself first and then work your business around that is my biggest thing. And it can look different. Like if you work better in the afternoon, perhaps you don't use your day as work. Like who said 8 to 4 was the work day? Maybe you work better from 3 to 9, or maybe uh, m- I don't know, maybe it's 12 to 2. Who the hell, like,
I work on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Wednesdays are my day off because I crank really, really well 4 days a week. That's number one. Number two, I get up at 4:25 a.m. and everyone's like, oh my God, that's insane. The world is quiet. My international clients are just getting to work. My American clients are still asleep. Between 4:25 in the morning to around 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm on fire time. I am cranking, I am doing things. And before, people were like, I go, oh my God, I saw the email at 5 o'clock. Are you okay? I go, I send emails whenever. I don't send them during 9 to 5. Whenever it comes, if I'm literally waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning just to go to the bathroom and I come up with the idea, I'm picking up the phone, I'm sending you an email, and I'm going right back to sleep. Don't you worry about me. I sleep 12 hours and I'm happy.
and just to your point, literally not waiting. Don't wait until whatever. Saturday, send it. A holiday, send it. They don't have to look at it.
Right,
It's not that
exactly.
that's the other end doesn't have, they don't have to be on. I'm not expecting a response on Christmas or whatever, but if it is in my head 3 o'clock in the morning, like you said, get it out, do it, whatever, because I guarantee if you wait, it is not, one, it's not going to have the same energy, and
Yeah.
two, it more than likely won't get done. So yes, completely. Uh, Build your business around you, not you around your business, because that's what the corporate thing did. And if you're substituting your business for your job, then
Mhm.
what's the difference? Like you want to be the joyfulness of it. So yeah, 4 days a week. Like if you want to work weekends, if you want to do, I don't know, Sunday through Wednesday, whatever, like do it the way you do it, because there is no normal. Normal doesn't exist. I don't know this whole new normal. Screw that. Like normal does not exist
Well,
in my
it's so
world.
funny, like when you say the people with the new normal, and also the people that are like, I go, work-life balance. When you own your own business, there's no such thing. When you work for somebody else, there's no such thing. Someone is going to not have you. Someone, someone is going to, like, something is going to be suffered. Okay, whether it's your diet, whether it's your kids' dance recital, whether it's like a baseball game, someone is losing out on you because you made a choice to do something else. I go, so the work-life balance, no such thing. And the whole entire concept of like yes, when the idea comes and it flows at 9 o'clock in the morning, my energy is not the same because I can feel it dwindling. And so I want to sit there and be at my best. And yeah, sometimes when I wake up, it's like, I remember I worked in a location where is the worst job I've ever had in my entire career. And I remember doing that. I sit there and I got called into the office and they're like, I go, I saw an email at 3 o'clock. Should we be concerned? And like, what? And I was like so confused, like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh no, I do that. My brain is what, because I work in the media. I come up with ideas all the time, in dreams or all the time. So it is one of those moments where like, not the right place for me to be working if I'm being called into the office because I had a great idea at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And one, why are they looking at the time anyway? Like, isn't like the email?
One would assume. One would assume. Okay. I've taken so much of your time, which I love, but I always feel really, really bad about that. We talked about so much, but again, this isn't going to be the last time to talk about, because I mean, I really, this is where like you get to really know the individual. And Laura knows that I know I was going to get all of this just talking to you I got a lot of energy from you in Florida, but what? This is great. I go, I can't literally, I'm like going to have my cousin watch this. I'm going to have my mom watch this because my mom met you. And then of course we started about the Starbucks. Oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. Which is really, really good. And also it's just like the fact that you laid it out. I mean, this is my favorite thing about anyone that owns a small business, entrepreneurs and innovators. we work our tails off, and we're not afraid to tell you how we're feeling. We're not afraid to say like, this job sucks. Oh yeah, by the way, it's my job. It sucks. Like, I've owned it for 13 years, and I tell people all the time, entrepreneur by necessity, not by desire. And so if you ask me if I was going to own my business like 13 years ago, I'd be like, nope, I want to work for the man. I want to know where my check is. I want to know where my 401k is. I would never be where I am right now. And I mean, the Great Recession, and like sitting in my MBA class, and the Great Recession happened. They're like, you're overqualified. No one's touching you. I'm like, what? What do you mean? I was told to do all these things, and now I'm told I'm overqualified. So meeting someone like you, meeting all the other individuals that I have on the podcast, you guys take so many risks, knowing that your lives have been risky, or something happened and you're like, I'm still going to sit there and make the best lemonade in the world. I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to make lemonade, and I'm going to sit there and like grow whatever I want, but it's my lemonade. It's my taste buds. I'm going by my way, because I have found someone that has the same taste bud as me.
So good. So good. Yes. And
I love
it. I was just going to say, like, of course, me thinking, oh, screw lemonade. Like, but like, get some oranges, or like, what else can we throw in there?
We could throw in like literally, we could have a nice drink. I mean, I would have an old fashioned. I mean, do you drink anymore?
I don't.
You don't. So you know what? I always say, like, with individuals so I know friends that are they're recovering alcoholics and they are bartenders, and I'm like, bravo, because you jump right in there and this is not a fear. I'm not afraid to go near the alcohol. I just can't drink it, but I'm not afraid to like be near it. And so I love that, where you jump off the horse to just get back on in a different way. So I didn't know if that was the case, because this is like a thing where someone may want to come to your house, and when they come to your house for dinner, they bring a bottle of wine. And
I would not, I'd be very grateful, very appreciative. I would not partake. I literally, I drank every day, all day for 20 years. Like, so not only does my body, like, thank God, but literally it doesn't do anything for me anymore. Yeah. Like, and I continued to bartend even after I got sober. And that's why I feel like when we get into the nitty gritty of alcohol and alcohol abuse and things of that nature, it's not the alcohol. Now I'm not saying that it's something deeper. And when you get into the down, dirty, ugly nonsense of that deeper thing, and there's a lot of layers to peel away, then you start to see alcohol not as like scary or fearful, or oh my gosh, I need it. That like it's not that numbing agent anymore. You don't, because you're not running away from your life anymore. You're not trying to get away from something. And like you said, many people have that. There's also the identity part of it. Like when you go to AA, and again, more power to people that have it as support. But when you go and you say, hey, my name is, and I am, sends a message. Yeah. And so therefore you relapse and you're like, well, I'm just an alcoholic, so that's what I'm supposed to do. Instead of, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I used it. I abused it. It did whatever for me at the time, but now I'm taking responsibility for myself, and it no longer has control.
I love how you say that. I think that's like, you're the first person that I have heard say it in such a way where I'm like, again, not for everyone, but I go, everyone thinks differently. Everyone finds their path in a different way. But I love how you're saying this, because more people need to hear that as well, where I am not defined by a word. I'm not defined by a word. One of the things that I say all the time, where I'm not a label. Labels are for cans. I go, hi, my name is Jodi. Would you like to get to know me? Because
exactly,
it's too easy to, I've been labeled. I walk into a room and I'm labeled already. I'm like, I'm not part of this. I'm just not part of it. Just approach me and say, I want to get to know who you are. And if you're a nice person, You're stuck with me. Crystal,
Yes,
Crystal, you're stuck with me. You're stuck with me. Okay.
I'll take it.
Aren't you
I will
happy you
take
were
it.
rolling out those yoga mats now, huh?
I don't believe in coincidences. Like our paths cross. Like that. I believe in the universe. Whatever whatever there is, or whoever's doing the marionette puppeteer. I have no clue. There's no way that we met by accident. I don't think so.
I love that.
So
I think it's
I
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So I am ending this conversation by asking my
yes.
favorite question. The way that well, look at that. I'm getting this is me where pre-menopause, menopause, I don't even know what is happening, but this is what happens where you get hot. But it's okay. It's fine. If you had, I'm sorry. The last question I ask of everyone is 2 questions. If for anyone that's listening to you right now, if you had to ask the question, if you had to answer the question, here they are, 2 answers, please. If you had a personal ask and a professional ask, and a professional ask of anyone that's listening to you right now, although I bumbled it up in the beginning, but everyone knows what I'm asking because I ask this of everyone. What would be your personal ask and what would be your professional ask of anyone that's listening to you right now? They cannot be the same answer.
Personal ask would be, is this a personal ask would be for everybody to look into their heart and find one thing that they are joyful for.
I like that one.
Professional ask would be anyone who knows of either a coaching person who would benefit even from a conversation about what we spoke about for coaching, or happens to be in the hotel industry and might want to enhance their guest experience. Let me know.
I like that. Okay, this is perfect. So see, I think people they just panic over these 2 questions, but I'm like, but you guys will always find a way to answer. So I'm
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.
Crystal, it was an absolute pleasure to get to know you. I love this. This was wonderful. And thank you very much for being so honest about so many. And I'm never afraid of anyone being, I am blessed by meeting so many amazing people that will share so much of themselves on my little podcast, which I'm very, very happy about. So thank you very much for sharing who you are and what you've experienced and who you are right now and who you're helping. So I really just love that so much. And it's funny where I'm wearing the winter gear, you're wearing the summer gear. Although I have this sunset is from Key Biscayne. So
I love it.
Key Biscayne that I love so much. Yeah. But thank you, my friend. And again, this is not the last time.
I hope not. And thank you so much for the opportunity. And I absolutely loved coming on and really having the chance to kind of spill it all out. And express all that good stuff.
But also sometimes you guys forget because you're running so hard, so fast for others. You forget about why you are who you are. And for me, I don't do business or I don't engage with people if I don't know who you are. And that's the curious little kid in me is still this curious little 52-year-old in me where I literally am. I wander. I want to know more. And for anyone that's not afraid to share, those people are in my life. For those people that put up the wall, I'm like, there's clearly a reason why there's a wall there, but I can't engage with you. You don't want me to engage with you. So it's all good. So thank you very much for not having a wall, my friend, not even having a wall.
No. No. Thank you. Oh my gosh. This has been absolutely amazing. And I look forward to, like you said, I'm not stuck with you. This is awesome. I get to have you in my life, and that's special. So thank you.
Wait, I do have one last question. What does everyone of your past, your husband, your siblings, is your dad still with us?
He is not.
He's no longer. So all the people that are still with you that saw where you were in the past and they see you now, what do they think?
They say, I'm not allowed to say it on here, but they say, holy blank, and and thank whoever you believe in upstairs or wherever. No, there, to be honest, and you know, I can't speak for most of them, but they have expressed that it's inspirational and that people can change. And literally, if you looked at me even 6 years ago, I mean it,
Mm,
and now 180, and there is like, people can change, and you know, deserve perhaps maybe second, third, fourth chances,
yeah.
uh, and really the opportunity to figure out what it actually is, what is actually going on. So the I have absolutely amazing people in my life who have been so supportive, and you know, I have tried to hear their side of it,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult for them to tell me. And so that's another journey of going through this, is not only me and what I was going through, but everyone who had to watch it
Yeah.
and be like, we don't know how to help. We don't know what to do. And their perspective of, oh my God, we're literally like you're watching a train wreck and you don't even know what to do. So that that's a that's a journey that we're still on.
I always say that there are a lot of people out there. We're just late bloomers. That's all. We're just late bloomers. It's not that we can't bloom. It's not that the seed is dead. We're just late bloomers. So give the opportunity for that seed to grow.
Yes. Yes, thank you. I
All
love
right,
it.
my friend, you go and enjoy your sun.
I'm sending it. I'm energetically passing it to you. I'm bright, you know, that sunset. Taking
We
it
have, you know
all
what?
in.
Well, it's so funny because it was 50 degrees yesterday. The day before it was 15. Then it was yesterday was 50. Right now it's 40, and we have a big snowstorm supposedly coming on Friday. So New England weather, we always say if you don't like the weather, just wait a second, because that's what we get. But in my cute little quintessential town, we have our massive tree. So we collect all the Christmas trees, and on the beach we have a big huge bonfire. So tonight is our big huge Christmas tree bonfire where the entire town, no exaggeration, smells like pine. It's awesome.
Oh my God. See, and that's the
It's so
thing. Like,
corny. It's so corny, but I'm walking, so that's my steps today, to walk to it, watch it, and then walk back. And I'm like, that's my steps.
and that's a completely different experience. Like you know, that's something we don't get. Like, so, but I can imagine just that, like, oh my gosh, and just the releasing, like the metaphor, you know,
Yeah,
releasing the holiday season and like the burning. Oh my God. Well, we could go on.
I
Okay,
know.
I can I can bring it all together. Oh my gosh, I love
Oh
it.
my God, I love it. All right, well, I'll send you pictures.
Please, 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 please do. Yes.
All right, all right. Thank you so very much, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to keeping connected.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.